Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about fate and importance of Kinvara, a red priestess who is one of the high-ranked leaders in the fate of the Lord of Light. Kinvara appeared in 5th episode called The Door of Season 6, and from only that one scene it was pretty obvious that Kinvara will play a major role in the upcoming seasons. As we all know, Kinvara accepted Tyrion's invitation, who sent it in order to gain her assistance in convincing people to follow Daenerys as their protector rather than a conqueror. After Kinvara accepted Tyrion's invitation, she met with Tyrion Lannister and Varys in the Great Pyramid of Meereen. Kinvara stayed silent while Tyrion greeted her in Valyrian, whereupon she said in the common tongue that he does not need to persuade her into helping because, as Kinvara said herself, she believes that Daenerys is the one who was promised, using Dany's freeing of the slaves and her dragons as an examples of her claim. I have to tell you that, while we are all expecting from the show to reveal that Jon is the prince that was promised, it also might be Daenerys Targaryen, as I have already said in one of my previous videos. Also, Kinvara is not the only one who said that Daenerys is the one who was promised. In the books, Maester Aemon pointed out that in High Valyrian, which is the language which was used in most versions of the prophecies, the word corresponding to prince is gender neutral, pointing out the fact that the prophecy is not specific about the promised person's gender. I'm not saying that Daenerys is definitely the one who was promised, but there are a lot of matches between Daenerys and prophecy, matches which some could, while a lot considering as proofs, depending on how you see it. In fact, the prophecy more than fits Daenerys. The prophecy says that the prince that was promised, aka the one who was promised, would be, quote, born amid salt and smoke beneath a bleeding star, unquote. She was born in Dragonstone, an island in the narrow sea, meaning that we have salt from the waves hitting the shores of Dragonstone, and also she was reborn as a mother of dragons on Khal Drogo's burning funeral bonfire, which matches the part of prophecy which includes amid smoke. Also, a very important fact is that in the morning for the first time, the red comet appeared in the sky, which fits the part which says beneath a bleeding star. For the final confirmation of Daenerys being the one who was promised, we have an additional prophecy from a Woods of Witch, prophesies that the prince that was promised will be born from the line of Aerys and Rhaella. As we all know, this prophecy also fits Daenerys perfectly, since Daenerys is a daughter of Aerys and Rhaella Targaryen. When Samwell Tarly told to Maester Aemon the rumors about Daenerys Targaryen and her dragons, Aemon became certain that Dany is prophesied leader. Aemon told to Sam, "No one ever looked for a girl. It was a prince that was promised, not a princess." And also told to Sam that Daenerys is the one born amid salt and smoke. The dragons prove it. In Maester Aemon's earlier life, he thought Rhaegar was the prince that was promised, as Rhaegar was born during the tragedy at Summerhall, amid smoke of the burning castle, while salt was provided from the tears of those who cried for those who had died. By that time, Aemon was wrong. Now that we know that Kinvara is not the only one who puts Daenerys and the one who's promised together, let's continue with Kinvara's importance. There is no doubt about Kinvara's importance in the upcoming seasons, which we could realize only considering how important Melisandre's role has been so far, and believe me when I say that Melisandre's powers can't even be compared to Kinvara's. You might think that my statements are wrong, that are not true, and I can understand that, but let me explain why, in my opinion, Kinvara will play a big role in Season 7, especially in Season 8. I'm aware that Melisandre has played one of the biggest roles. I mean, without her, Jon would have been dead, which is her biggest achievement, but also without her, Stannis would have also still been alive. While Melisandre has played a huge role in previous seasons, in my opinion, as I've said in a video about Melisandre's fate, beside two big encounters that she will probably have in Season 7, in my opinion she will disappear for the most of season, whereupon she will reappear dramatically, either near the end of the upcoming or in the very beginning of the last 8th season, but it's only my opinion, I could be wrong. Melisandre might be included in every single episode, but I just don't see it that way. In case I'm wrong, in case that co-producers David and Dan decide to include Melisandre in most of episodes, in that case, I see Melisandre in Winterfell during the almost whole season, hiding behind her true form, a theory which I brought you in a video about Melisandre's fate, so if you find this theory interesting, feel free to check it out. However, as I was saying, Kinvara is much more powerful than Melisandre. Kinvara's title is High Priestess of the Red Temple of Atlantis, the Flame of Truth, the Light of Wisdom, and First Servant of the Lord of Light, which says itself how much powerful Kinvara is, while Melisandre's only title is a Red Priestess of the Lord of Light. Let me quote one her sentence that she told to Varys. Everyone is what they are, and where they are for a reason. Terrible things happen for a reason. They could happen to you, Lord Varys, when you were a child. If not for your mutilation at the hand of a second-rate sorcerer, you wouldn't be here helping the Lord's Chosen bring his light into the world. I've been wondering what Kinvara wanted to imply on when she said, if not for your mutilation, you wouldn't be here helping the Lord's Chosen. Kinvara clearly meant that, if not for his mutilation, he wouldn't be helping Daenerys right now, but I'm wondering, is it because of the voice in the flames that Varys heard? Did he gain all power that he has, and is helping Daenerys because of the words, because the voice told him to? I'm aware that it's hard to find an accurate answer on this, but in this theory in which the voice came out from the flames, told Varys to serve him and to help Daenerys, certainly is an interesting theory, at least for me. While we know for sure that Varys got his revenge, as we saw a scene in 4th episode of 3rd season in which we could see that Varys was clearly torturing that same sorcerer that once tortured him, a scene which explained a lot. In that same scene, Varys admitted to Tyrion that he heard a voice, and that he still dreams of that night, the night when all of that happened to him. Therefore, he also admitted that it's not because of sorcerer or his blade that he dreams of, but because of the voice from the flames. In the books, Varys doesn't even know what he heard that night. When Varys described the haunting story of his castration, he said that when the sorcerer threw his parts into the fire, he heard a strange voice speaking a language he could not understand, and also said that he was drugged and in pain, pointing out that he often told himself that he must have hallucinated the voice. While this is the case in the books, I don't think it's the same in the show. In the show, Varys said himself that he still remembers the voice. In addition, he said he dreams of it every now and then, which kind of confirms that Varys knows what the voice said, and by his face expression when Kinvara asked him, I'm quoting again, "You heard the voice call out from the flames. Do you remember? Should I tell you what the voice said?" It was pretty obvious that he knows and that he exactly understood the words that came out from the flames. But let's assume that just like in the books, Varys didn't understand what the voice was saying on the TV show as well. It would still be obvious that Varys, who can be considered as one of the most clever men in the Seven Kingdoms, would learn that language on which voice was talking, would learn and solve the meaning of those words, since he still knows and dreams of that voice and words that came out of it. So yeah, it's most likely that Varys knows what the voice said exactly, and in my opinion, that same voice is the reason of Varys being on the place in which he currently is, and the reason of him helping Daenerys Targaryen since the very beginning. Let's get back to Kinvara. Let's get back on statement which confirms my statement, that Kinvara is way more powerful than Melisandre. While the meeting was getting between her and Tyrion along with Varys to an end, Kinvara assured Tyrion that she will summon her best priestess and preachers to speak about the queen through all of Essos. Did you catch and figure out that particular part of sentence in which she said, I will summon my priestesses? That means that she has higher rank compared to someone like Melisandre, as first part of her title says itself, High Priestess of the Red Temple of Atlantis, which also supports my statement that Kinvara has more power than other ordinary red priestesses. Considering how young Kinvara looks, it's most likely that she is, just like Melisandre, hiding behind her true form. Additionally, in my opinion, Kinvara should be much older since Melisandre is only an ordinary red priestess, while Kinvara has a much higher title. In conclusion, Kinvara will, in my opinion, play a huge role in the upcoming seasons. Kinvara also has much more power than Melisandre or any other red priestess, which is kind of certain statement. After all, we could call it arguments that I brought you today. Let me know your opinion on all of this in the comment section down below. Don't you think that Kinvara's role is yet to come? Because it wouldn't kind of make sense to bring that powerful and important character in the show without any further importance, don't you think?